Hello, dear viewers. Namaskar. Welcome to Moksha Media. Moksha Hirimat is with you. Today, I would like to tell you something about 20 and 21st Sthalas in 101 Sthalas of Siddhanta Shikhamani. You know, Siddhanta Shikhamani is the magnum opus of Veerashaivism. There are some controversies regarding the appearance of Siddhanta Shikhamani. According to some people, it was appeared in the 8th or 9th century. Some people denied it and said that it was appeared at the time of Vijayanagara Empire. But here I am not concerned to those views. I am concerned with the contents in the Siddhanta Shikhamani. Whatever it may be, every religion has its own stages, has its own phases, has its own sensitiveness. Of course, Lingayat is the first stage to get into Veerashaivism. In those days, so many people initiated into Ishtalinga Diksha. At that time, it was a revolutionary concept. Of course, even today, the persons who were initiated into Ishtalinga Diksha were considered as Lingayats. That is the first thing to enter into Veerashaivism, because these persons who got Linga Diksha came from different environmental background. They had different concepts and they had to give up those concepts to enter into Veerashaivism. So, at the primary stage, they are initiated into Ishtalinga Diksha. Of course, once they got into initiation into Ishtalinga Diksha, automatically they went or they go on and on towards the target of Veerashaivism. That is different one. But anyhow, here I would like to tell you the 20th and 21st stages of Siddhanta Shikhamani. I have already clarified to you the content in Siddhanta Shikhamani is very important for me than any other things. Whatever is there in Shunya Sampadane in Kannada, that has been seen in Siddhanta Shikhamani also. Who has taken from home is a different thing. These concepts pass from one to one, from mouth to mouth, since generations together. They are not formed in one period. They have taken their own time to be formed. So, in that background, we have to consider the stages of Siddhanta Shikhamani. We know there are 101 sthalas in Siddhanta Shikhamani. I have already told you some of the sthalas. Today I would like to tell you the 20th and the 21st sthalas of Siddhanta Shikhamani. 20th sthala is Aahvaana Nirasana sthala and the 21st sthala is Ashtamurty Nirasana sthala. What does Aahvaana Nirasana sthala? When a person is initiated into Ishtalinga Diksha, at that time his Guru invited the spirit or Shiva into Ishtalinga. That means invitation to the greater spirit or to the Shiva is already done by the Guru. That is why Bhakta need not to invite again into Ishtalinga, but he has to invite Shiva in order to perform rituals to worship Shiva. Because there are some rituals, we have to follow those rituals. And in order to practice those rituals, we have to invite spirit to perform rituals without any abstractions, without any distractions. So, here invitation into Ishtalinga Diksha should be given up. But invitation to perform rituals should be welcomed, should not be given up. Here we have to understand these two differences in Aahvaana Nirasana Sthala. Aahvaana should be given up in case of Ishtalinga because already Guru invited that spirit into Ishtalinga. But now the Bhakta who has to perform some rituals in order to worship has to invite the spirit to perform the rituals without any distractions. So that is why at this stage that Maheshwara should give up Aahvaana Nirasana Sthala. Nirasana means to give up, to detach, not to attach. What we have till that time, that Nirasana is very important in the beginning, We have to give up something and we have to accept something. That is, giving up and accepting something generally goes step by step or sometimes goes hand in hand. That is what we have to keep in our mind while thinking of this Aahvaana Nirasana Sthala. And it is clearly said in Siddhanta Shikhamani. So there is no confusion. Siddhanta Shikhamani has been translated into so many languages in the world. Of course, it is primarily in Sanskrit. It has been translated in Kannada, into English, into so many other languages. Most of you know it. Then another one is that Ashtamurty Nirasana Sthala. What is Ashtamurty? Ashtamurty means 8 forms. Shiva has 8 forms. Which are those 8 forms? They are earth, water, air, sky, fire, sun, moon, and Atman. These are the 8 forms of Shiva. But these themselves are not Shiva. Here Atman controls the controlled one. Shiva controls in another form all these things. So, one controls all these forms. So, these forms don't become Shiva themselves. That is what we have to keep in our mind. Shiva created something in order to make it easy to reach the target, to get the moksha. That is the ultimate aim of the spiritualist. It is a kind of transition. It is a kind of tranquility. It is a kind of peace. Only persons who have experience can experience it. Sometimes it is difficult to say it in words. But you cannot deny it. So, that moksha should be achieved climbing the different stages, and these Sthalas, these 101 Sthalas or some of them to achieve, to attain that moksha. Here, Creator created the world. Creator created all these things. But what Maheshwara or what people do, you know? They worship the created the things but not the creator. One should worship the creator but not the things created by the creator. But you know, most of the people in the world, 99.9% of the people worship the created things. A kind of fetishism, we can say. A kind of crazy for things. And we think that these things are the real forms of Shiva. They are Shiva themselves. But you see, these things do not become the Shiva themselves. They may be comforts. Comforts are different from the Creator. Creator can create the comforts. They are for the human beings. They are for the advancement of humanity. They are for the achievement or gaining of moksha. But they themselves are not moksha. That is what we have to bear in mind while thinking of these things. So, the pupil or the devotee should worship the Creator but not the created ones. But in today's world, people, that is devotees, worship the created ones but not the Creator. They have forgotten the Creator. That should not be pardoned. So, that is why Shivacharya of Siddhanta Shikhamani tells it, Creator is important but not the created things. Shivayogi Shivacharya tells it again and again in Siddhanta Shikhamani. Shivayogi Shivacharya composed Siddhanta Shikhamani, which has been passed from mouth to mouth, from generation to generation. I have already told you, it is not formed in one stage or in one period. It may have taken some periods. And whatever is passed from those periods has been composed by Shivayogi Shivacharya. So, in the form of a story. Of course, he tells it through the mouth of Renuka, who teaches it to Agastya, a rishi. So, it goes on and on. So, these 101 sthalas are narrated and described in Siddhanta Shikhamani very clearly. But even with all this clarity, there are some people, they create some divisions. They create some sort of confusion. This creating a sort of confusion, controversy and distraction is for a purpose of them, because by that they would like to accumulate the property. They try to sustain that property. They try to have that property on and on to their generation, to their relatives, on and on. This is there indirectly. Of course, now we can see it in this corporate world. Of course, this corporate world works very hard. But there are some people who do not work hard but get all these things very easily, and they enjoy all these things. They enjoying all these things for sake of their pleasure in the name of those corporates also. So here is a circle. The corporates, the agents of corporates, the gods of those agents, and etc., etc., it goes on and on. Of course, every society has its own system to gain its fruits. But whenever that system rejects and refuses the common people, whenever it looks down upon the common people, automatically there will be a revolt. So whenever these corporates, whenever these agents of corporates pollute the environment, that is we can see water pollution, earth pollution, air pollution, and etc. etc. If you go to any part of northern Karnataka, you can see it. Now Koppala is the standing example before our eyes. So many fighters are against it. They fight to control the pollution. But these elected representatives play a double role, play a double game. This party shows that party and that party shows this party. It is a kind of childishness. Of course, it is not a new to Indian voters. But these chameleons should be exposed properly, and so the people should be awakened regarding these things. These things emerged because of this fetishness, that the love for things, love for unnecessary comforts, denying the health and wealth of the common people. Due to these things, so many common people faces so many health disorders. And if you take into account these sthalas which are explained in Siddhanta Shikhamani, definitely we can put an end to these disorders, at least to a little extent, on and on. But these sthalas are forgotten, and they simply worship the outward form but not the inward form. The outward form is completely polluted in so many kinds, in so many types. And if we study Siddhanta Shikhamani, these sthalas, we come to know how the inward eye should be opened, and opening that inward eye should put a full stop to these problems to a little extent. That is what Shiva Yogi Shivacharya propounded it in Siddhanta Shikhamani, the magnum opus of Veerashaivism. Of course, Veerashaivism is not a sectorial religion. It is very flexible compared to other religions. Here now, I am not going to defend or propound or opposite. What is there will be told you. What is there in Siddhanta Shikhamani is revealed to you. It doesn't mean I condemn this religion or that religion, this caste or that caste, or this concept or that concept, or the philosophy, etc., etc. These things will arise by the persons who create controversies. These controversial people are always there. Whatever the type of the society, they are there. But the thing is, we have to expose such a controversial people who create unnecessary controversies to gain their profit, to get the perks and properties. So, if you look into the sthalas of Siddhanta Shikhamani, definitely we will come to know, definitely our mind will be ennobled, enlightened, and our society will be ennobled. So, I will tell you something about in the next episode. I hope you appreciate this episode. So, I request you to subscribe and share this channel. So, because it gives a different type of versions which are prevailed in the society, which is different from others also, and it is a kind of enlightenment of our mind and etc. etc. It is a kind of contribution to the advancement of society. So, in the interest of the society, in the advancement of the society, we have to give the scope to such channels, to such persons, to such fighters, and to such organizations, and unions and so many other sanghas and associations, etc., whenever it is possible. So, please subscribe and share it, and see you in next episode. Namaskar. Thank you.